If you are a serious English learner ready to improve your English, you're in the right place. So call a friend and let them know that Jay has some breaking news. Well, hello, all of my students. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Jay, and welcome back to the channel. It's time to improve your English comprehension, vocabulary, and your English fluency. And I will do this with an English from the news lesson. I'm going to read through today's article at a moderate pace and break down key vocabulary words and phrases you can start using today. And of course, we're going to have a great time along the way. So make sure you're paying attention because I have 7 quiz questions available today. I want you to put your answers down in the comments section, and I will have the answers on the screen for you at the end of today's lesson. So if you're ready for some learning and some laughter, let's dive into today's lesson. According to CNBC, Iran reports it has seized 2 ships in Strait of Hormuz after U.S. extends ceasefire. Okay, so this is what is being reported at the recording of today's lesson. And I want you to notice that Iran has reported that they have seized. Okay, so when you seize something, it's a verb, which is an action word, okay? And it means to be taken by force or control. So you might say the police seized the illegal goods. Okay, you seized. Or if you're in the present tense, you seize. Okay, sometimes we use the phrase seize the day, which simply means take advantage of your time, your opportunity. Achieve your goals, be successful, be productive, seize the day. Okay, now in the text we see that they have seized ships, or it is being reported. So let's continue and find out what happened and learn a little bit of English along the way. Tensions in the Middle East increased sharply after multiple ships were attacked in the Strait of Hormuz, a critical route for global oil shipments. Okay, now notice here, it says that tensions increased sharply. Okay, now of course we know when something is sharp, we can think of maybe a knife is sharp. It has a point that if you stick something or someone, it might punch a hole in it. Okay, sharp can also be described as someone that is witty or clever. So you might say, he was very sharp to make that decision. Dude, you're kind of sharp. I see that. You're intelligent. You're quick on your feet. You have a great answer for a question. You're very, very sharp. But here, tensions increased sharply or dramatically, or they increased very, very high, okay, sharply. So something can be a sharp increase or a sharp decrease, all right? Let's continue. Critical. See this word here? A critical route. Very important. We are hearing a lot about the Strait of Hormuz because it is a significant, a important, or crucial route for importing and exporting. The incidents or the events, the incidents have raised concerns about the safety of commercial vessels and the stability of international trade. Of course, trade has to do with business. Trade also has to do with if I have a car, you have money, we can trade money for the car. Or if you have a fish and I have, let's say, some turkey meat, we can trade. Oftentimes, we call that bartering, okay? I may not have money, but I have something that we can trade. Now, of course, when they use the term vessel, that is a synonymous term for a ship, okay? A ship or a vessel. Now, vessel is a very interesting word because it can be used for more than just a ship. But here, in the context of today's lesson, a vessel is a noun, okay? A large ship or boat. So you might say the vessel carried oil across the ocean, the vessel. Now, oftentimes a vessel could be something that you carry liquid in or something that is important. Could you take the vessel to my sister's house? Or the word vessel can be used to describe your body. Okay, protect your vessel. Your body is a holy vessel. It's important. Okay, so vessel can be used to describe something that you carry something in. It can be used as your body when you're talking about your body, or as in the context of this sentence, it's talking about a large ship. Okay. According to reports, at least 3 vessels were struck or fired upon, with 2 ships later seized by Iranian forces. Officials said the ships were accused of violating maritime rules, though details remain unclear. Okay, obscure, something that is unclear. We talked about that yesterday, something that is obscure, you're not sure of, not certain of, okay? When you violate, okay, you break a rule. Okay, we use that word to describe someone that has broken a law or a rule. Okay, it's also used as a slang term to describe someone that has been disrespected. Yo, why you violate me like that? Okay, check out this word right here, maritime. All right, maritime. Let's look at this so you can or enunciate it just a little bit better. Okay, maritime. Maritime, okay? It's an adjective related to the sea. Maritime trade is important globally. So anything that says marine has to do with the water. One report described attacks as happening shortly after a ceasefire announcement, showing how quickly the situation can change. So, in other words, this is amazing. Once the ceasefire or stop fighting was put in place, they're saying that attacks happened immediately after. So, someone is not respecting the ceasefire, all right? Showing how quickly the situation can change. Authorities warned that the strait remains perilous. That's a great word. Perilous. Even when it appears open to traffic. So what that sentence means is it looks safe, but it's actually dangerous. Okay. It's perilous. All right. So let's look at this particular word, perilous. Perilous. All right. Perilous times, you might say. It's an adjective having to do with very dangerous. Okay, the last days will be perilous times. Okay, perilous, very, very dangerous. The climb was perilous in bad weather. Okay, so it was something that is very harmful. There are certain areas in the city that are perilous. I do not go by myself. It's very perilous, very dangerous. All right. You don't want to be caught slipping. That's a term word. Okay. It's saying that, look, you don't want to be caught unprepared. All right. As we would say, you want to be ready so you don't have to get ready. Okay, let me see if we can look at our first quiz for today. All right, I have 4 options for you. I want you to use the comments section to place your answers. All right, perilous, maritime, vessel, and destabilize. I haven't defined that one yet, but let's see if you can use context clues, okay? Number 1, the journey was blank due to dangerous conditions. There's a context clue, dangerous, okay? Number 2, the conflict may blank the region. Number 3, the blank carried goods across the sea, okay? So what is a big ship? Remember I talked about that. Number 4, the country depends on blank trade. Okay. What type of trade? All right. Okay. Let's get back to the second half of the article. We are doing very good today. The Strait of Hormuz carries a large share of the world's oil supply, making any distribution highly significant. Remember we talked about crucial earlier? Something that is significant is synonymous with crucial. It's important, okay? It's essential, something that really matters. So you might say, your attention is significant to me. Your touch, baby, is so significant. Okay, very, very important. Food is significant, all right? Experts say even small incidents or problems, okay, trouble. Small incidents can affect global markets and energy prices. Officials also noted that hundreds of ships have been delayed or rerouted, adding pressure to global supply chains. Say that with me. Rerouted. Rerouted. Okay? Now, when something is rerouted or there is a reroute, it says that there is a change of direction. Okay, this is a verb describing an action, rerouted. So you might say flights were rerouted due to weather. All right. They were working on the road, so they rerouted traffic. All right. The GPS gave me another way of getting to my destination. It rerouted my travel, okay? Sent me in another direction. Some analysts believe the conflict could continue to destabilize the region if attacks persist, all right? All right, destabilize. There it is, destabilize. Say that with me, destabilize. So when you destabilize something, you make something unstable. So you might say the crisis could destabilize the region. So stabilize means to make stable. Destabilize is the opposite. So you might say because of the war, the city has been destabilized. So we're staying at home, all right? It has become very dangerous or unstable. Notice if attacks persist, okay? Persist. If attacks continue, persist. For now, governments and shipping companies are watching closely as the situation remains unpredictable and could shift quickly depending on military and diplomatic decisions. So, in other words, depending on what the military and leaders do, diplomatic decisions, people that are in charge, politicians, okay, ministers of secretary, defense, people that run a country. Whatever they decide is what's going to happen. So right now they're saying everything is unpredictable. Say that with me. Unpredictable. Okay? So when something is unpredictable, you really don't know. There's uncertainty. Okay? Not able to know in advance. So you might say the weather is unpredictable this time of year. Or you might say she is so quiet. She's pretty unpredictable. Okay. Now, when someone is the opposite of unpredictable, they are predictable. You know exactly what they're going to do. So I might tell my wife, girl, I knew you were going to say that. You are so predictable. But if I didn't know what she was going to say, I would say, you are so unpredictable. I don't know what you're going to do from one day to the next. Unpredictable. Okay. All right. I have one more quiz for you. But before we do that, let's read through today's story at a faster pace. Let's put it all together. I've given you about 10 words and 2 phrases. Let's put it all together. I'm going to read very quickly. Let's see if you can keep up as well as comprehend. All right, let's dive in. Tensions in the Middle East increased sharply after multiple ships were attacked in the Strait of Hormuz, a critical route for global oil shipments. The incidents have raised concerns about the safety of commercial vessels and the stability of international trade. According to reports, at least 3 vessels were struck or fired upon, with 2 ships later seized by Iranian officials. Officials said the ships were accused of violating maritime rules, though details remain unclear. One report described the attacks as happening shortly after a ceasefire announcement, showing how quickly the situation can change. Authorities warned that the strait remains perilous, even when it appears open to traffic. The Strait of Hormuz carries a large share of the world's oil supply, making any distribution highly significant. Experts say even small incidents can affect global markets and energy prices. Officials also noted that hundreds of ships have been delayed or rerouted, adding pressure to global supply chains. Some analysts believe the conflict could continue to destabilize the region if attacks persist. For now, governments and shipping companies are watching closely as the situation remains unpredictable and could shift quickly depending on military diplomatic decisions. All right, we made it through, even though I had a slip of the tongue at the end. Okay, a slip of the tongue is when you often say something that you didn't mean to say. I had a slip of the tongue. Okay, here's the second and final quiz for today. Seized, reroute, and unpredictable are your options. Number 1, flights had to blank because of the storm. Number 2, the police blank the illegal items. And number 3, the situation is highly blank. Okay? All right, so this is what we are going to do. Before I show you the answers, make sure that you take at least 2 words from today's lesson and you use them in a conversation within the next week. If 2 is too simple, take 4 or 5 words, okay? You should at minimal have 14 words a week if you're following me every day, all right? Secondly, make sure you go back and watch today's lesson twice, once with the subtitles on and once with the subtitles off, okay? Once you discipline yourself and get consistent, you will see that my 2 simple strategies, they work, okay? With that being said, if you have enjoyed today's lesson, all I ask is for a subscribe, a like, even a share to someone that you know that is trying to improve their English as well. Okay, now here are today's answers. If you have not answered, do not cheat. Okay, do not cheat, pal. All right, here we go. There are the answers. You can screenshot those, take a picture of them, and check your answers at a later time, okay? Hey, guys and girls, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Make sure that notification bell is on. I'll be releasing another podcast episode later this week, hopefully tomorrow or the next day. And so I want you to be notified when that releases so you can join me. All right? Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you get some rest so you can join me on my next English lesson. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.